Over 4,000 missiles were fired at this aircraft. Every single one of them missed. Not one enemy ever touched it. Insert. Its only defense was a single instruction to the pilot. Push the throttles forward and simply outrun whatever was chasing you. This is the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird, the fastest jet aircraft ever built. Here is how this machine actually worked. In 1960, a Soviet missile shot down an American U-2 spy plane. America needed something no missile could ever reach. Kelly Johnson's secret Skunk Works delivered exactly that. 32 Blackbirds were built, first flying in 1964. At 3 times the speed of sound, friction heats the skin beyond 300 degrees Celsius. Aluminum softens, so Lockheed chose titanium. America lacked titanium ore, and the biggest supplier was the Soviet Union. The CIA bought it secretly through fake companies. Titanium was brutal to work with. Ordinary tools shattered against it, and even tap water stained and ruined the precious metal. Look closely at the wings and you see corrugated skin, like cardboard. Those ridges let the metal expand without tearing itself apart. In flight, the heat stretched the entire airframe by several inches. Every panel was built with small gaps to allow it. Because of those gaps, the Blackbird leaked fuel while parked on the runway. It only sealed itself at speed when hot. So it took off with light tanks, met a waiting tanker, and filled up in the air before every long mission. The cockpit glass was quartz, reaching over 300 degrees. Pilots pressed their food against the windshield to warm their meal. The black paint sheds heat, cooling the skin, and its iron particles absorbed radar, hence the name Blackbird. The sharp edges along the body, called chines, scattered radar waves and added lift. This was stealth, decades before stealth existed. 2 Pratt & Whitney J58 engines each produced over 32,000 pounds of thrust with their afterburners lit. They were hybrids. Below Mach 2, they worked as turbojets, but at full speed, the inlets themselves produced most of the thrust. Each inlet held a sharp-moving cone, a spike, sliding back 26 inches to trap the supersonic shockwave in exactly the right spot. If that shockwave escaped, the engine unstarted. The jet yawed so violently that pilots slammed their helmets against the canopy glass. The fuel was special too. JP7 was so hard to ignite that a burning match dropped into it simply went out. Starting the engines required triethylborane, a chemical that bursts into green flame on contact with air. Each jet carried 16 shots. Before burning, the fuel flowed through the aircraft's skin as a coolant, absorbing heat from the airframe on its way to the engines. 2 crew flew every mission, a pilot and a reconnaissance systems officer, wearing full pressure suits, identical to those of astronauts. At 85,000 feet, they navigated by the stars. An automatic star tracker could lock onto stars even in daylight. The cameras were the whole point. In 1 hour, the Blackbird could photograph 100,000 square miles of enemy territory. It flew over Vietnam, North Korea, and the Middle East. When a missile launched, the pilot just accelerated and climbed away. 12 Blackbirds were lost in its career, every one to accidents. In combat, over 32 years, the enemy never scored once. In July 1976, it flew 2,193 miles per hour, a record no jet has broken since. It crossed from New York to London in under 2 hours, and on its final flight, Los Angeles to Washington in 64 minutes. Satellites and budget cuts retired the Blackbird by 1999. A quarter century later, nothing has ever truly replaced it.